And I feel you make an excellent point about the best fighting the best. And, we're in a different era now. I mean, obviously, with this whole pandemic, it really changes things. You had big fights after big fights, especially this year, 2021, that has fallen out. Wilder, Fury, Teofimo, Cambosos, Manny Pacquiao, Ugas. Not necessarily because of the pandemic, but because of other things. But, a lot of the money situation, the business side of things. But that's why it's more important now more than ever for the best to fight the best. And if deals can get done, for deals to happen.
That's why the fighter has to understand that, too, that I better take the fights that are there now. And yes, look out for yourself. Management, trainers, whatever, have to look out for the best. But don't override it too much. Don't marinate it too much. Because guess what? Right now, how fights are falling and not happening, they may never happen. So you want to take the opportunity, especially a lot of the fighters that during that year shutdown weren't able, they're getting ready. They just want to step in the ring. At that point, it's like, you know what? Let's just sign the contract. I want to fight.
Well, let me ask you this, kind of changing gears a little bit. You guys have always had a really good relationship with Canelo Alvarez. I know you've worked with him for many years. You, Oscar De La Hoya, Eric Gomez, all you guys have been really good friends. Now he's on a different path, right? But it's one of those things where the boxing fans, and if you're in the boxing social media and the boxing forums, everybody's talking that it's 3 years in a row that Canelo Alvarez has not fought on Mexican Independence. It's a huge weekend. We think of Oscar De La Hoya. I think of Julio Cesar Chavez. You can even throw Mayweather's name in there in the recent past, right? Why is it you feel could be? Is it more of the business aspect of it? Is it more because back then they used to say, hey, well, a lot of people were saying it could have been the promoters not being able to negotiate, or a lot of people were putting blame on Canelo. A lot of people were putting blame on the other side as well, the other side of the promotion. What do you feel is the issue?
I think a lot of the issue is the opponent for Canelo. I know Canelo very well.
Yes.
Obviously, he would love to fight in May and September. Those are Mexican holidays that historically mean so much. But you need two to dance. You need two to tango. And as much as one side says, I do want to fight him, all they're looking at is the lottery ticket. They're not looking at the mentality of fighters from the 80s, Leonard, Duran, Hagler, Hearns, that said, you know what, I want to fight him because I want to beat him. And once I beat him, things are going to happen. They're going to fall in place. You got to beat the man to become the man. And that at all times doesn't mean you're going to become him. There's fighters that can beat a Manny or beat a Oscar or maybe even beat a Mayweather. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to turn into that next guy.
That is correct.
But in this particular case, a lot of opponents are just looking at that retirement check.
That's right.
Rather than looking at, I want to fight Canelo because I want to beat Canelo because that'll make me number one. They're just looking at it. If I fight Canelo, damn, that's the lottery ticket. I get paid and I can retire. I'll tell you this, and I say it from my experience and because I feel I know a little bit. There is not one fighter right now that can beat Canelo. There's not one fighter out there. Not in 60, 68, 75. Okay, that's not his natural weight. Come on. A few years ago, before he beat Kovalev, nobody would have been thinking he's going to jump up to 75 and beat Kovalev. Now people are looking at, yeah, but he won't beat Beterbiev. He won't beat Bivol. He won't beat... You're going into 75. You're trying to reach hard. 60 and 68, which is a high division for him, there's nobody to beat him.